welcome to another fun-filled episode. And now you can see us. Wave, Billy. Say hi.
Oh, wrong one.
Okay.
Sorry.
Welcome to A&B Sports Media, the podcast, now on video. My name's AJ,
And I'm Bill.
and let's get right into it. This is interesting, actually, seeing us on
Yeah, I don't want to
here.
see you though.
Well. So fun fact: this beautiful thing right here. Let me actually get up and show you.
That's where all the magic happens.
Right here,
Oh yeah,
baby.
slap the
With all
table.
this,
Slap that table.
with all
Now,
these fun things.
all the things that we bought, and now we're
All the
doing it.
things, all
And
the
now we're
things we
doing it from our
bought
homes.
specifically for this, and now we're online so we can do the
Yep.
cameras. But all right, let's get right into it, Bill. Let's get into sports history.
Today in sport history, which today is October 3rd of 2023, but we're gonna go way back to 1884 with the British Opens men's golf in Prestwick, GC. Jack Simpson wins in windy conditions by 4 strokes from fellow Scots Douglas Rolland and Willie Fernie. Great name. And then
Great
we're going to
names.
go to 1888 with the New Zealand Natives, a privately organized and mainly Maori rugby team, plays the first game in the UK, beats Surrey 4-1, first rugby national team to wear all black and perform the haka, which, if you don't know, that's the crazy war dance that they do before every rugby match to make everyone very terrified of
Yes.
them. And then in 1920, the American Pro Football Association, later known as the NFL, plays the first round of games. The Dayton Triangles beats the Columbus Panhandles 14-0 in the first official game at
What the
Triangle
hell?
Park, Dayton. I now want to be called a panhandle.
You want to
That's
be
a
called a
dangerous thing
panhandle?
because in the panhandle, that's where all the crazy shit happens.
Nah, let me be the triangles.
You could
That's
be
where
a
it's at.
triangle, you damn square.
You friggin' panhandle.
Anyway, that was our time in sports history. We're going to go flying right over to 200 miles an hour into Formula One. And guess what happened again?
What happened again,
Max
Bill?
won. What else is new?
Crazy.
That was last weekend. Oh, wait, we talked about this already. There was no race last week, or there was no race this weekend due
Whoa.
to them going to the Qatar Grand Prix on October 8th at 1 p.m. So, no race last weekend. I'm repping Lando Norris's jersey here if you can't see it. I don't know if you can see it now, but
Yeah, you
shimmy.
can.
There you
Shimmy,
go.
shimmy.
Lando Norris football jersey. Don't know why I bought it. I did. I have a ton of Formula One gear for some reason. I love it. But I forgot. The Qatar Grand Prix is on October 8th at 1 p.m. You can catch that on ESPN at any time. Max is probably going to win, but Lando Norris has been playing very well recently. So, honest to God, I would actually put a bet on him for going top 3. I think that would be good. If you want a more safe bet, I would do top 6. But that's something that we could talk about more once next week because I don't think there's not much else worrying about Max getting first place at this point. So as we get into the pit lane, we're going to get out, drop our gloves, and start fighting somebody. We have hockey. Guess what happened? The Flyers won a game. They won a preseason game.
Yeah.
It was against the Bruins. It was 3-1. So far, when it comes to preseason, they are currently 2 for 3. They've won. I'm
Okay.
sorry, 2 for 5. 2 for 5.
God damn it, Bill. You're already
I know.
high.
They played 2. They played 5 games. They won 2 of them. Is it 2 for 3 or 2 for 5 then?
If they played 3 or 5 games
They played 5 games.
and they've won 2.
Won 2 of them. Lost 3. So they're 2 and 3.
They're yeah.
Okay, so they're 2 and 3.
But 2 out
There
of
we
the
go.
5 though. That's what.
But
I
2
think
out
that's
of
what.
5.
I think
That's
what's
what I was
throwing you
trying
up.
to say.
Yeah.
But they're 2 and 3 in the preseason. They have one final preseason game in 2 days on Thursday, October 5th, 7 o'clock against the Islanders, who they lost to already.
Mhm.
They actually, I just noticed their wins that they have are both against the Bruins too. But again, all preseason, so
Shout out
it won't
Kevin.
matter. Yeah, I was gonna call him and make fun of him, but and then our first actual game will be next week on October 12th.
Mhm.
It's not a home game. We don't actually have a home game until October 17th against the Canucks. So we have some time still until hockey comes back into our lives. I'll be pissed off for the majority of the time because I love the game, but at the same time, Jesus Christ, it's annoying.
Did you cave and get season tickets or no?
No.
No, they stopped
I
calling you,
got
didn't
I
they?
got called again for season tickets. I'm not spending the money. I can't do it. I want to. It's not worth it. I'm gonna wait for Philly's season tickets next year. Do the Sunday plan like I wanted to.
Yeah, that's smart.
All right. So now we're going from a slap shot to a penalty kick. We're going to talk about the Philadelphia Union. They played recently on Saturday, September 30th, against Columbus, another tie game for them. They also played on September 27th before our podcast where they were playing against FC Dallas. They both tied there as well. So currently on some 4 actually. I just realized. Hang on. They are currently on. Where is the last game? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are on a 5-game draw streak.
Draw streak. Oh wow.
Yep. So starting with Cincinnati, they went 2-2, or the score was 2-2. Against Charlotte was 2-2. 0-0 for LAFC. Against Dallas was 1-1. Columbus was 1-1. They're playing Atlanta United tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time in Atlanta. And currently in the standings, they moved down to 4th because of none of the points really helping them out. They are currently right behind New England, which is has 52 points, and Columbus has 50. They are pretty much going to be set, I think, for finals as long as that continues. It looks like the end of the season ends on October 21st before playoffs kick in. And if that's the case, they should be fine. But everything can
Should
change
be.
real quickly, so we'll see how it goes. Um, so yeah, let's see. Well, hopefully that keeps going well. And now we're gonna get out of the soccer stadium and into the backyards and watch people beat each other up because these are your UFC fights of the weekend. Before I do that, I want to see if this works. And I should have tested this earlier, but I didn't care.
I want to give a shout out to Millie, who's just sneaking around behind that
I
that
know.
door over there.
Did that work? No. No, it's not working. All right, I wanted to see if I can go live while I was
You should be
using my
able to.
camera. What's up?
I said you should be able to. Let me
It
see
didn't
if I
work.
can do it. Boomer. Let me do this.
Nah, it's not letting me. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Oh, don't you keep going. I'll pull
Okay.
it up.
How'd you get it up? I don't know why.
Because I'm just good like that. It's all right.
I hate you. All right. Well, Saturday, October 7th at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We can now have this up so people can see those pretty little faces as they get beat up later. Gonna be real. A lot of this card is unranked fighters, so it's not anything that we're gonna be able to focus heavily on. I wanted to be able to share my screen, but it's okay. But we're going to talk about Bobby Green first and Grant Dawson, just because otherwise there's not much else going on this card. Grant is currently 20-1-1, one no contest, obviously at the end. 4 wins by knockout, 13 by sub, 7 first round finishes. He is currently on what looks like a 3-ish win streak. There's actually a draw in between. But otherwise was on a roll basically before then and is ranked 10th in the lightweight division. What can I say about this dude? He is good. He is honestly a very well-rounded lightweight, great striking, great takedowns, great wrestling, great submissions. As you could tell, 13 wins by submission is no easy joke. I think this is kind of a mismatch of a fight, but I think it's just because Bobby Green can just go in there and do it the best that like he'll fight anybody. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
Now jumping over to Bobby Green, he is currently 30, 14-1, has a lot of experience under his belt. He fights with a lot of bob and weaving, Philly shoulder. 10 wins by knockout, 9 wins by sub, 10 first round finishes. So he's no slouch either. Both have good takedown defense. Both have good striking. I can see because they're both, in a way, have good wrestling and takedown defense. This is going to be a striking matchup. If that's the case, I think Bobby will have a much better chance than it is by fuck, I lost my train of thought. think Bobby has a better chance in striking against Grant than if he had to go deal with wrestling too, because we've seen him wrestle against Islam Makhachev and it didn't go too well. But Bobby's on a weird kind of like path with his record. He's fought the craziest. He's fought Islam Makhachev, Drew Dauber, Jarrett Gordon, and he recently won via submission against Tony Ferguson. Which I mean, he gave him his 6th loss in that streak, so it is what it is.
It is what
Um,
it is.
Moving on beyond that. Oh no, this guy. Let's go downwards. I want to show off one dude. His name is Joaquin Buckley. He is, if you've seen him before, you'll see him again. He has the one of the most famous highlights in the UFC where he got his leg caught, does a little spin move and kicks the dude in the face, and he was just all fucked up there. It's not right. And now what's it called? He's 16-6, 12 wins by knockout, 4 first-round finishes. Where Alex Morono is currently 23-8 with 1 no contest. Alex is no slouch. Honest to God, I actually think Alex will probably win this. He's currently coming off a win against Tim Means, which is no slouch either. Very happy with him overall. I'm going to take Alex, honestly. I like Joaquin, but I think Alex is going to take it. Odds-wise, let's see what they say. They don't say anything yet because it's too early. But it is... that's whatever. Moving one more down, and this is the last fight I'll focus on before a shout-out. We're going to go over one more lightweight fight going on. That's Drew Dauber versus Ricky Glenn. It's right under your screen, AJ. AKA the Crimson Chin and Ricky Glenn. Love Drew Dauber. I think he should be in the top 15, but after his last couple fights, I was wrong. He's currently 26-12. He's coming off a loss, 14 wins by knockout, 5 by sub, 9 first round finishes. He is overall a good fighter. He just needs to keep everything going, and I think he'll be okay. But I think he'll win by knockout against Ricky Glenn. Ricky Glenn is currently 22-7-2. Both of these fighters are coming off a loss. 13 wins by knockout, 3 by submission, and then 7 first round finishes. So moving on, one last thing. There's a guy on the first one, Alexander Hernandez versus Bill Alego. You know who I'm rooting for. Otherwise, that's really it regarding UFC. No PFL or one going on currently. No major boxing matches, I think, until Tyson. We did miss last week, which I do apologize. Canelo Alvarez did fight. He won single-handed or unanimously for his middleweight title, so good for Canelo. Try to keep up with boxing more. I done goofed on that one. I didn't realize that was happening that week. I thought it was the week after. But that is it for UFC, and it is time for everything else. Oh God, did we screw everything up?
No, we didn't. We're good.
Oh, thank God.
You know
Because
what?
I'm annoyed at everything right this moment, but that's my fault.
Our first video, all right? We can edit a lot of it. I probably won't edit a lot of it. I'll probably leave it in because it's
Just
funny.
leave it in as we're just sitting there going. Just you know what you should do? Put text over it, that's saying Bill's DoorDash fucked up or something.
I'm gonna say we're gonna cut here, and I'm just gonna have technical difficulties.
There you go. There you go. But it's time to talk about sports. Other sports. I don't know which one you're starting with, so I didn't want to say one.
We're starting with the Fightins, boys. We're starting and girls. We're starting with the Fightins. They start their first wild card game tonight. So by the time this goes out, if it goes out tonight or it might go out tomorrow.
Oh, we could have went out for this.
No, we couldn't have.
It's 8 o'clock. The game starts.
Yeah. And what was your exact reasoning for not going out?
Yeah, I know. I want to be a broke bitch, but I ordered food.
Well,
I could have went out with that food.
That's your fault.
No.
Also, I'm pretty sure. I think Rab might have people over. I'm pretty sure he was talking about doing that tonight. But I have no idea. But
right,
yeah, no, you told me you were a broke ass bitch, and to be fair, so do I. So I
Nah,
kind of
that's
want to
fair.
not go out and spend money. But if you're gonna
As
spend
I did
money,
that
then.
anyway.
But regardless, they have their game tonight. I got my Castellanos jersey on. Um, I was very curious about this because because the Phillies and the Marlins. I think last year was a lot worse than what they are now. But so the Phillies and the Marlins they faced 13 times this year. Can you tell me how many like the record? Like this is I have the Marlins record right now.
We beat them all.
Huh?
We beat. Oh, are you talking about the records in general, or are you
Like
talking
the
about?
record, Marlins versus Phillies, it's head to head, and I have the Marlins record right now. Well, technically the Phillies record too. What do you think the record is?
I think the Phillies beat them every time we saw them.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the Marlins record is 7-6 against us.
Oh.
Yeah, so that means we are a
Oh no, we are
40-ish
the
percent,
underdogs again. Whatever shall we do?
but we're not.
Oh.
So
Okay.
Phillies are actually minus 155 on the money line, and the over
Dang
under
it.
is 7.5. So they expect a scoring game.
They always expect a
Um,
scoring game. Because
but
if
we
we're
got
hot, we're hot.
especially in Philly, like Bedlam at the Bank, like
Yeah.
Red October. I'm so excited. Um, but we got Wheeler going for us. He was 13-6 on the year with a 3.61 ERA, and then you got Lazardo. He was 10-9 with a 3.63 ERA. So it's going to be a fun one to watch. It's really going to come down to do the Phillies have the bats going today or no?
They better.
And I think so. This is how I see the series going. I think the first game we win handedly. The second game we lose, and then the third game we win in like a glorious bullshit thing that the Phillies will do it on some playoff games. So it's gonna be a lot of heartbreak. I will tell you that. But I think that
Yeah.
we come out of it because it's a 3-game series. I think we win this 2-1. Um, you'll love this. You'll love this so much. Angel Hernandez.
Oh no.
He is officially the worst umpire of the year.
Oh, that was not as surprising as I thought.
But he was officially the worst umpire of the year. He actually didn't start until August due to a back injury, but he racked up 161 bad calls in 10 games,
Jesus.
in
That's terrible, man.
including the lowest rated game. That's crazy. And that
Imagine his
man still
back
has a
wasn't
job.
hurt. It would be worse.
Yeah, imagine if he started in like April and May. That's crazy. That's baffling to me that
It's
they still
nuts
let this
that in
man.
2 separate games he missed 15 calls.
Yeah,
It's insane. It's nuts. And then the strike zone thing with Harper, that was
it wasn't even a
stupid.
strike zone. That was just he
Or
said
the
he
swing,
swung,
check swing,
but he
check swing.
didn't. Yeah, which was that was he's so bad at his job. Moving on, so because that game will get decided today. By the time this episode goes out, we'll either know if they won or not. We'll even know if I'm going to be pissed off the rest of the week or not. But so we're going to be tuning into that. That starts at 8 o'clock. But moving on to things that really do piss me off is the Sixers. A little news there. Drew Holiday, the one that got traded from Damian Lillard, he actually got traded not to the Sixers, not to the team that he should have gotten traded to the Celtics.
Oh,
So now
well,
Milwaukee and the Celtics are now leagues ahead of the Sixers, while the Sixers are faltering. And the Sixers are not a serious organization. It pissed me off so much. And Harden hasn't joined the team yet either. They had their media day, and he was supposed to show up for like the team media days, but they didn't. He didn't show up for that. He's still expected to, and I think people around like him are expecting him to show up too. But that's an absolute shit show. I don't think he gets traded. Like the fact that he's all pissed off at the Sixers for not trading him when it's like, no, you probably should be pissed off that the Clippers don't want to give anything like to get you.
yeah.
So, but now we'll move on to football.
Woo, football.
The Giants got massacred.
I
Absolutely massacred.
I don't know what's up with that team.
Yeah, because one game they get demolished by the Cowboys. Then they
Yep.
have this huge comeback from against the Cardinals. And then the next game, the next few games, they
They
just
can't even
they get
score
crushed.
10. They scored 3.
Yeah,
3.
yeah. Fucking Daniel Jones threw 2 picks and he had a fumble and he was sacked. How many times do you think he was sacked, Bill?
6.
Higher.
Really?
Yeah. Try
12.
one more time. Ooh, 11.
Oh, wow. Holy shit.
Which is disgusting. And it
Yeah,
it
that's
it it pisses me off so badly because I had the Seahawks defense on my bench on my other league. And if I played them,
you would
because
have
they
won
got
massively.
32 points, I would have won by like 3 or 4 points.
Yeah, holy crap.
And it makes me sick because I would have been undefeated still in that league. But the Giants without Saquon Barkley, they don't look like a good team at all. Daniel Jones isn't looking for Darren Waller, who they brought in to be the wide receiver one, he's a 30-year-old tight end.
I gotcha.
Their run game isn't looking good. Daniel Jones doesn't look good. Their defense can't hold shit. Um, and I was thinking about this too. I think their season's kind of over. Like,
Yeah,
but
I think this is now a rebuilding.
I would think so too. And they just like gave Danny Jones like an 80 mil or 100 something mil contract. Like he's more expensive than Jalen Hurts. I hope you understand that. Um, and they face Miami and Buffalo the next 2 weeks. So like they're gonna get smacked. And if for some reason they pull off some BS like, oh, our season's not over, wins against one of them, which I think it might be Miami, but I highly, highly, highly doubt that's even possible.
Yeah,
Their season's over. And I think realistically, I think the smartest thing they should do is probably if they are going into a rebuild, trade Saquon Barkley for some picks or something like that.
yeah,
I don't think they're gonna do that. I think they're gonna be stubborn as fuck, especially when they
probably.
have Dayball. They just paid Day Jones all this. They just got Darren Waller. They're definitely not gonna want to rebuild. And to be fair, too, they did have a few linemen go down there in that game,
They did.
but that's not it. They didn't have linemen go down during Dallas. They didn't have linemen go down during the other games. Like, I think it's over. But we'll
I
move
think
on.
it is.
We'll move on from that game. We'll go on to the tomorrow night game. For real podcast.
Oh.
Huh? Yes.
We are getting so many interruptions.
My mom's saying hi.
Hi.
Yeah, for real. This is, of course, the one time we record this, like video wise. So many things are happening.
Yep.
But moving on to the Jets versus the Chiefs game, which that was a fun game.
That was a fun game.
Zach Wilson almost did it, dude.
He almost did it. He didn't, but he almost did.
To be fair, there was a lot of things that went against him, though, and I think
Yes, I will say refereeing was kind of shit there.
that was very suspect. I remember the one they actually on my Twitter feed. It's everywhere, but
The
the
NFL script.
one, yeah, they had the pick, and the ref waited to call the flag until he caught it to be sure that it was a pick, and then he threw the flag, and it was like, not the greatest look, NFL.
Nope.
But Zach Wilson honestly outplayed Mahomes, which I never thought I would ever say in my life.
Yeah, Mahomes had 2 interceptions too, which is wild. Zach
Yep.
Wilson had none.
Yeah, he had none. But Zach Wilson did have one fumble, and that's kind of what.
Yeah,
If you take away the penalties, that is what decided the game.
it did.
It took them a while to kind of get going too. Like he was a lot more comfortable, and he was more in a rhythm with the offense. But when it came down to mistakes, Mahomes, honestly, he's in an extra caliber where yeah, he'll make mistakes, but he can still overcome them and win. Zach Wilson could not, and again, penalties were a little sus. But yeah, he threw for 38 attempts, 28 completions. He threw for 245 yards and 2 touchdowns. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was.
What was
Good for
not
him.
cool? What was not cool was Rodney Harrison. He's an analyst. He's like after the game, they have like people on. They talk about the game and stuff going around.
And they choke on players.
Yeah, especially Chris Collinsworth. We all know what he chokes on.
Yes, I love Chris Collinsworth. No, I don't. I fucking hate Chris Collinsworth. He is on my top 5 irrational hatreds. If I was able to see him in an Eagles tailgate parking lot, I would fight him on the spot. It would be worth getting arrested.
Okay.
Irrational hatred. I told you.
It's kind of rational. Maybe
It's
maybe
totally
not
rational.
to
He's
the
terrible.
extent of
He's
what
terrible.
not to the extent of what you said, but
No, 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 no.
he
He's
loves
terrible.
Mahomes.
I
Mahomes
don't like listening to him because
Mahomes
all
throws
he
a pick. The penalty one. Mahomes threw a pick, and then
yeah,
immediately he was like, "Mahomes has such a touch on the ball." It's like, are you kidding me?
no, he has a touch on the ball to the defense. No, bad Collingsworth. I want to hit him with a squirt bottle. Every
Yeah,
time he says something about the other opposing QB, that's it.
I agree. I agree. He's a lot, but that's not the analyst I'm talking about.
I know. I'm
Uh,
sorry.
Rodney. No, that's fine. I'm all for the rant because I'm there with you. Rodney Harrison, he's an analyst. He got some flack because he was trying to bait Chris Jones, who's a D tackle for the Chiefs, to kind of say some bad things about Wilson. And Chris Jones was like, no, like he's a special player. And Rodney Harrison was like, what do you mean he's trash? Like on live TV. He's like, no, he's trash. Like you can at least admit that, right? He's like, no, like and Chris Jones actually was giving him praise and stuff, which was like a huge thing. But yeah, Rodney Harrison straight was an absolute dickhead, dude. He was like, he was trying to get Chris Jones, calls like Wilson trash to put him down and stuff like that. And it was like, as an analyst, that's just it's severely unprofessional, for one, and for two, trying to bait someone into like doing that kind of stuff. You're just an absolute dickhead.
Yeah, I was just scummy.
But the Jets defense, they look absolutely phenomenal.
They
Like
did.
phenomenal.
Only they had
Um,
a good offense to go with it.
I was gonna say, and that well, now that the offense is kind of starting to pick it up and starting to click, they're starting to gel. Zach Wilson's starting to get into it. I think they need to start using Brees Hall more. I
Yeah.
know they have him; they're like trying to ease him back in after the ACL, but like Dalvin's not doing it. Michael Carter's not going to do it. If you want to give the rookie a shot, maybe do that. But like Brees Hall's the guy, so like they should start, you know, ramping him up a little bit more, and see where they go from there. But if the Jets defense stay the way they are and the offense only gets better, especially against the Chiefs, like that's going to be honestly, I can see them being like a late push playoff team. Um,
Yeah, I was gonna say they're only 1-1 when it comes to divisional games. They won against the Bills and then lost against the Patriots. So it's not like they're out of contention yet, like the Giants really feel like they are.
no, not the Giants. Honestly, I feel like they're about to go 1-5. Like
Probably.
the Cardinals comeback was just kind of crazy, but
Yeah.
I do have a fun fact about the Jets game, though. The Jets scored every possible way with a touchdown, a safety, a PAT, a field goal, and a 2-point conversion.
Huh.
They also scored the minimum number of points possible in that scenario. So if you combine all those, it's 20 points, and they scored 20 points. So that's I thought that was like that just kind of crazy. Like I don't even know if you could bet on that, but
Yeah.
imagine like you literally the only way of scoring by like figuring out different ways to score in the game. Um, moving on, I want to talk a little bit about the Chargers versus the Raiders because that was kind of like the more out in the mid window of the games. That was a more competitive one. And man, Herbert's he's him, dude. That
Yeah.
man is I don't know.
He
A
looked
lot of
good.
people, a lot of people online keep calling him not clutch. Just like well with his playoff performance, giving up that like the big lead and stuff like that. It's like no, he's pretty clutch, dude. Especially
Yeah.
when he's hurt. So because he got his foot not his foot, his hand stepped on, and he actually has a broken finger. So he's like they have a bye week, so he'll be fine, for their
Yeah.
next game. But he came back in with a broken finger and was dropping dimes. Like he had 3 total touchdowns. And at the very end to seal the game, threw a 40-yard like dagger, like right on the dot to Josh Palmer. That man's a stud. I don't understand why people keep saying he's not clutch. There was one time where it was the first or second game of last season, I believe. He um he got hit in the ribs, broke a rib. Like we didn't know he broke a rib until afterwards, but he broke a rib, and that man was just placing like it was another 40-yard dagger, but it was to DeAndre Carter, and it's amazing the kind of accuracy this man has. But on the other side of the ball, the Raiders players are not too happy. Devontae Adams and Josh
Hmm.
Jacobs actually like were verbally like Adams last week before this game, and now Josh Jacobs this week after this game. Adams said he doesn't have time for them to figure it out. The man is 30 years old. He's still playing at like an extremely elite level, which is crazy. But Father Time catches all, and he knows that, and he's like, no, like either we need to figure this out, like because I don't have much time to win a chip. Um, Josh Jacobs also too saying, "I'm tired of losing. Just keep it 100. I'm tired of fucking losing." So like both their stars are pissed, and
Oh yeah,
rightfully so.
rightfully so.
But
For years, it's been going on.
yeah, I mean, and Josh Jacobs too is definitely frustrated about like the contract issues too, because
Yeah.
that man carried your team last year. It was him, and then the next person was Devonte Adams, and then there was no one else, and they
Hmm.
carried that team for a while, and like after a while, you either start winning or those guys are gonna have to leave, and I think that that's what's gonna happen. I think that if the Raiders don't figure it out within the next 2 weeks, actually, yeah, within the next 2 weeks, I wouldn't be surprised to see because Josh Jacobs needs to get a contract.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised if Devontae Adams requests a trade so that he can go somewhere and win a championship. Because
Come
I
to
don't
us. Come to the Eagles. I don't know.
yeah,
Probably not.
I would love for it, but like I don't know if we can
I don't think
fit
we
the
can.
cap, and I don't think we
No,
would pay nearly as much to get him because they're probably going to
absolutely
ask for
not.
like second and thirds and stuff. We're not going to
Yeah,
do
no.
that. But speaking of the Eagles, they they somehow pulled it off, Bill.
Yes, I know. My
They somehow
anxiety was
won
through
that
the
game.
roof.
Oh yeah, my blood pressure was through the roo I was laying back in a nice comfy chair,
You're
and I
welcome.
even couldn't enjoy that because of goddamn Eagles. But I was thinking it was a 2017 Giants-esque win, and actually, now that I think about it, I didn't let me I'm looking up, what week the Eagles
That was
played the
week 2.
Giants. Was it week 2?
That was week 2.
No, it wasn't week 2 because they faced the Chiefs week 2. I remember
No,
that because
I swear to God, it was week 2.
that was week 2 and 1, so yeah, that was week 3.
Okay,
So so it was around yeah, week 4 this year, week 3, and it was Giants-esque, like, and I say that because
close.
it was I'll give this to Washington, actually, I'll bring this up later, I'll get into it, but, Hurts looked phenomenal.
He did. He
He
looked good.
he looked fantastic. He went, 25 for, 25 completions, 37 attempts, 319 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And he was just dropping dimes, specifically to AJ Brown. I mean,
Which, yeah,
their game plan, their offensive game plan this week looks leagues better than what I've been seeing. I mean,
yeah,
for instance, DeAndre Swift. I mean, that's not really a game plan, but that man is. They're starting to realize we should probably use this man a lot more, and he's the
yeah,
guy moving forward. It's just watching him maneuver the line, especially with our best O line. He can maneuver the line and make sure that linebackers are stuck in certain holes, and then he breaks out. And then you just get somewhere like the line's so good that that man just has a wide open hole, and he'll just take off and like make sure the first guy misses. So that's another 20 yards. But he's so good. He went 14 rushes, 56 yards, and a touchdown. I think they need to start using him over Gamewell. Gamewell didn't really play that well.
he only had
They had
4 carries, only 14 yards, and
uh-huh.
then 2 catches, 7 yards. Nothing
Yep,
much.
yep, and there he was part of, like, a really stupid play. It was, like, 3rd and 11, and they did
Yeah,
an outside run, which didn't really make
yeah,
sense to
that
me.
didn't work.
But, moving on from just the running backs, I was trying to think of a nice segue because I'm excited for this portion of it. But AJ Brown is so fucking good at his job, dude.
Yeah.
So good. And he rewarded me for bringing him back home to both my fantasy teams. He's now on my dynasty team, so the house of AJ is wide open for business, baby.
Oy vey.
Um he went 9 receptions on 13 attempts, 175 yards and 2
So
touchdowns.
many yards.
He was
That's nearly
6
2 football fields.
yeah. Well, he was 6 yards away from his all-time like career high, which was
Yeah,
181. So he was popping off. And I think that if, maybe if he caught the one where it was like that really contested one where he like caught it here and then like fell back and the guy made a nice play, then that would have been his best career game ever. And they put him up against the Washington rookie who was talking shit all game, and that was definitely like a welcome to the NFL moment. You
Yeah.
don't do that to that man because he'll make sure you eat your
He
words.
will run your ass over, which he did.
But specifically with AJ Brown and the play design, there was actually a play design that I wanted to call out, which is really a really cool like idea because I know you've been noticing too, and I've been asking them to do something else with Goddard, but they've been doing a lot of screens with Goddard, where it's like maybe like
Yeah.
2 yards behind, and then they like do a screen and stuff. Where I want them to do more vertical stuff with Goddard because him vertical up the middle of the field, he's so goddamn good.
Yeah.
Like every we have so many years of evidence that they should keep doing that.
eh,
But
y-
to their credit, they used a few screens to Goddard during the game, which helped them get that AJ Brown 50-yard touchdown because
Yeah.
it was a fake screen. So he did a little pump fake to Goddard, and AJ Brown was going up pretending to block. And at the block, he just took off, and that's why he was so wide open. And they had that dot, and I thought that was
Yeah.
a really good play design.
It was.
Um, and there was just like other things like that where it just felt more like a fluid offense was working. Jalen Hurts needs to hit a few more people. There was
Yeah.
looking back at the tape though, there was a few more miscommunications that I still think need to get cleaned up. Like both AJ Brown, Devontae Smith on some certain deep balls, they didn't really fully run it out. They didn't expect to be getting the ball when that's not what you got to do. Like you run out the play regardless. Devontae Smith made a nice catch deep downfield, but there was one where he was coming off. He was like I think it was like 15 yards deep, and he kind of like made a break to the left and kind of like pulled up a bit because he didn't think he was getting the ball, and he looked up and he was like, "Oh crap!" So it looks like Jalen Hurts overthrew him, but like looking back at it, Devontae Smith just kind of
I
like
was gonna say it looks
gave
like a
up.
miscommunication.
Yeah, and the same thing with AJ Brown. He did kind of same thing overthrew it, and then there was one where it was like a blitz. It looked like AJ Brown kind of ran the wrong route because
Yeah.
Hurts went for a post, and AJ Brown went more of like an in route.
It wasn't perfect. It's still not perfect yet, but it's getting better. But yeah, those miscommunications are dangerous.
Yeah, like that's definitely stuff that needs to get cleaned up. That's why like people aren't really happy with like the 4 no's because we see it. We see like it's not where it was
Or
last
I
year.
hate to say it, it's more like a when is it gonna go wrong?
Exactly. I mean, good teams find a way to win even when things go wrong, and that's what they're
Yeah.
doing. And actually, someone pointed this out too. They said that if last year didn't happen and we were just in this year, we would think that this year was last year. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? So
I
we
know
would
what
think
you
that
mean.
this year would be special, but since we had the expectation of last year, and they're still
We're
4-0, they're still technically holding
we're
up to
taking
it.
it we're taking it not literal, we're realistically, that's the word.
Yeah, it's like we're not where we need to be, and especially
Yeah.
against good teams going down the line. Like we could be 6-0 after the Rams, and then I think we have the Jets, and then we have the bye week, and then we got the Bills, the Chiefs, the Niners,
Yeah, like
Dallas.
all the tough teams.
Like I think these next few weeks is where you really have to heavy iron it out.
Yeah, because once the bye week's over, shit turns to 11.
Mhm. And just sticking on the offense real quick, because I do want to get to the defense a little bit too. AJ Brown, since the Vikings game where everyone was like, where he only had like 40 yards and he kind of like was a little upset. Since the Vikings game, he's caught 18 receptions on 27 attempts for 306 yards and 2 touchdowns. And we all know he probably could have had 4 touchdowns if he didn't drop the ones during
Yeah,
the
if he
Bucks.
did drop it, yeah, he would have definitely had 4.
During the Eagles and Jalen Hurts during his tenure, when they were facing double-digit deficits, they're 5-0 in those games. That's
Hmm,
nuts.
that
Like
is nuts.
that's a good thing to be. Whenever you have Jalen Hurts, you're never out of the game, which is very good to see. I mean, he's what
Yeah.
21-1 overall record as a starter. Um, percentage of this is a fun stat. I actually thought this would be pretty cool too. To kind of go with the offense. So percentage of points um, like from NFC East QBs. So this is how much the QBs had a direct effect on your offense scoring points. Because like obviously you'll have a receiver making nice ass plays, running backs, all that, whatever. But this it directly is affected by the QB and them getting the points for the team. Number one is Hertz, obviously, with 41% of the total points. So that's 48 points out of 118. This number two is just because they don't have that many points. The Giants with Danny Jones.
Really?
Yeah, well, he's 39% of the total points of offense because it's 18 points out of 46. So we have 118 total points. They have 46. So like obviously percentage is a little skewed, but Sam
Yeah.
Howell is number three with
Okay.
34%, 30 points out of the 89 total points. And then number four, Dak Prescott, 19%,
That is satisfying.
24 points out of a total 124. So that's a everything else made sense until I saw that because that's 19% of 124 points, which is like very friggin' low. But I
Yeah,
just to kind of show you that like even though things aren't working well, like the Eagles offense are going.
they are.
The defense, however, suspect as hell. And it's specifically with our pass coverage.
Yeah, it's not looking so hot right now.
No, I mean we have injuries. Our few of our safeties are hurt. Our slot cornerback is hurt. Avante Max, he's out for the season.
Hmm.
We actually did just sign a cornerback. Um, it was a Saints veteran. He's a slot cornerback. So I have a note here that I wanted to bring up specifically to bring Bradbury out of the slot, put him back on the outside. It's the former Saints and Broncos cornerback Bradley Robbie, and he's a slot cornerback, so that directly affects our problem a little bit. But it was just they played just, like very soft coverage. They were very
Yeah,
hardly pressing. Like our D line was going after them. They had 5 sacks that game, and I think like
they did.
11
Yeah,
pressures, which means like they were affecting the line. But our defense has made Sam Howell look like Tom Brady. I mean, he went 29 for 41 with 290 yards and a touchdown. All the big plays. We were a Reed Blankenship forearm away from losing that game.
yeah, that was close. If he did not forearm shuffle there at the last second, we probably be in a shittier situation.
100% share your situation, and it's just yeah, I mean, it's a game of inches. I know that, but this is Washington, and to be honest, fair fair credit, give credit where credit's due. Sam Howell looks pretty good in the
Yeah,
past 4 weeks. Like
he did.
they got smacked against the Bills, but they're a more, I guess, efficient defense with less injuries than we have. But Sam Howell actually looks pretty good. I think he's definitely their guy moving forward.
Yeah,
Um, but kind of going back on the cornerback position for the Eagles, yeah, like Job wasn't doing it on the outside. He was kind of getting cooked a lot. I wanted us to kind of work with Eli Ricks, the rookie. He
hmm,
was looking pretty good. Um, we'll have to see what they do with the new guy at least. Because I know that like now they signed him, so we'll see necessarily what happens with that.
yep.
Sorry, I lost my train of thought. And then last but not least, I know I'm very Eagles heavy. There is more stuff we're going to get to. Sirianni said that Goddard's still a part of the plan moving forward. Goddard only had 13 completions, 19 attempts, 88 yards, and that's it through 4 weeks. Like I said,
Needs
they
a
kind of
little
use
more.
them, yeah, more vertical. They use them on misdirections with the screen and stuff like that. But and before I get into waivers, Bill, do you want to talk about the MVP of that game?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not wearing the right color, but I have the number 4 on, so he did it again. When the times were
Son of a
tough,
bitch.
the dip was low, the beers were warm. This man walked out like a majestic beast, pigeons and doves flying by him, and he went out onto, I think it was the 56-yard line or 50 or not 56, but he kicked the 56 or 54-yard field goal and won the game in overtime.
54.
54.
54.
54.
He's been automatic this season. He's
He
been
has.
without him, realistically probably 2-2.
Yeah, he is currently, for 3 of the 4 games that we've had, he has been 100%. He has only missed 1 kick so far this season.
Yep.
Jake Elliott
And
is
it was like a 30
still,
yarder.
Yeah, it was because third closer he gets, it gets harder for him.
Yep. Before we get into next week's lineup, where we're going to talk about a few games for next week, I do want to talk about a few waiver wire pickups that I think would be relevant to fantasy.
Okay.
I'm pulling up the keeper draft that we have because the dynasty league that I'm in, most people are already taken, so that this wouldn't necessarily fully apply. But a big one that's going to be a big waiver wire ad. Jaleel McLaughlin. He's the running back for Denver. Javante Williams went down. He's not expected to lose that much playing time, but Jaleel McLaughlin, he had 7 rushes for 72 yards, 3 receptions for 32 yards and a touchdown. It's just every time he touches the ball, he makes plays. And he's only rostered in 6% of leagues, so I would highly recommend going after him. A few other names. P. Ryan, Jalen Warren, if he's still available, Tyler Boyd, CJ Stroud, if he's still available. Um, Michael Wilson's another rookie that I think is going to be doing really good. He's a rookie for, excuse me, Arizona. He's starting to kind of come into his own. He went 7 receptions on 7 targets for 76 yards and 2 touchdowns. Josh Dobbs is kind of looking towards him. If you need a QB streamer, I would definitely choose Josh Dobbs. He's been playing very high level football, especially for a QB that's never kind of been in a starting position for a minute. Josh Dobbs is rostered in 9% of leagues. Michael Wilson's rostered in 8% of leagues. When it comes to the other ones, those ones are a little bit more well known. Like in our league, he's taken with CJ Stroud is only rostered in 56% of leagues. He's like probably going to be a top 10 QB moving forward. So
Okay.
I'd highly recommend looking into those. Make sure you use appropriate fab bucks. I would definitely try to get McLaughlin, Michael Wilson, and Stroud as the main guys. Trade targets, I would definitely say Joe Mixon, and same with Tank Dell. They kind of had a down week. The Bengals offense does not look good. They're one of the worst offenses right now, but that'll pick up. And Joe Mixon's an elite talent running back, so if you can get buy low on him, definitely do that. Tank Dell, same thing. He had a down week. That was just because Nico Collins popped off for like 170 plus, like an AJ Brown thing. Where Devontae Smith might have had a down week, but Devontae Smith's good. Tank Dell's a rookie, but he's him, and he's one of CJ Stroud's favorite targets. So I highly recommend trading for him. Also a few picks that I would definitely recommend trying to trade for is Michael Pittman. He's the wide receiver one in Colts. He's probably going to be a little bit more expensive than most of the rest of the people I talk about outside of Pollard. It's Tony Pollard. Try to grab him too. These are a few buy low candidates that I think not too much buy low. Definitely more buy low on Mixon and Dell. Try definitely try to look for Rashad White. That man, he's the running back in Tampa. He's getting like at least 75-80% of the snaps for running backs, and he's making it worth it. I'll be honest, I thought Sean Tucker was going to take the job a lot quicker, but Rashad White has been keeping on to that job and getting a lot of opportunities. And the fantasy football opportunities are what gets everyone points. Last but not least, I would say James Conner. He's been someone that is kind of came out of nowhere for me. I always thought that he was very mid. He just had a lot of volume when it came to a lot of volume for a running back, so that's why he would always get points and stuff like that. But he's been looking really good. Specifically even against Dallas, like their stout defense, he went 98 yards and a touchdown. He's been running the ball really efficiently, so I highly recommend trying to get him. He's a little older of a running back, so careful. He also is a little bit injury prone, so but he's looked healthy, he's looked good, so I highly recommend going into that. Um, and then we'll get right into some of the football games. Eagles face the Rams away. Bill, what do you think is going to happen here?
I'm concerned about this game
Are you?
a little bit.
Why is
I
that?
not even in the sense of like our team itself, our defense. Yes, I'm very concerned about like how we're handling pass defense.
Hmm.
I'm more concerned that this game may just be like our off day and then we lose.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. I would
I,
definitely think more of the No, there's more than the Jets. I would definitely see that.
Hmm.
Our only saving grace though is that Stafford's actually dealing with a hip contusion.
Okay, so that's
Um,
actually huge.
he's still expected to play. He's a tough bitch, dude. That man
Yeah,
popped his shoulder out when he played for the Lions. It's actually he was mic'd up. It's like all over. If you go on
I
YouTube, look it
remember
up.
it. Yeah,
Popped his shoulder out, threw a bomb, came in for one play, threw a touchdown to get them in the lead, then won the game. But so he'll definitely want to play. He's older, but he's still going to tough it out.
he still has fight left in him.
He absolutely. I think this game comes down to how well do we stop the pass.
Yes, if we
Um,
can, we got it covered. If not, we're screwed.
mhm. Stafford is more of a less mobile QB than Howell is. Howell definitely was more of a pocket passer, but he can move around. He can, manipulate the pocket. Whereas Stafford, especially injured and older, is not going to be able to manipulate the pocket, move around like that. So I think one, how's our pass coverage, and two, is our D line going to continue this dominance? And I think if at least one of those work, then we win this game.
Yeah,
Right now on the matchup predictor, the Eagles are looking at a 55.9% chance to win this game. According to Caesars, right now the line is Philadelphia minus 4.5, over under 50.5.
really.
So they're expecting a high scoring game, and I
I don't think it will be.
really,
No, I
That-
think it's gonna be less than 50.
really, because these are two prolific offenses. You don't think that, you know, it's
If
going to be a big.
anything, if the Eagles are gonna win, it's gonna be a blowout from the Eagles, and the Eagles defense holds up. Eagles are gonna blow them out. Their LA is not gonna score for shit. It's gonna be less than 50 because of that. However,
Okay.
if the Eagles defense shits the bed,
hmm
then I agree, high scoring game.
Okay. Yeah, I think it really depends on how or what they do with like, are they putting Bradbury back on the outside and bringing in the
Yeah,
new guy in, on the slot. There's no anytime TD prop bets for this just yet, so definitely look for our Twitter at AB Sports Media. I'll put it up there. Um, yeah, I'd probably go minus 4.5. Over under I think is definitely more 50-50 than most people think. But I think minus 4.5. I think the Birds do win this by at least a touchdown. And then if they don't, they're going to lose by a field goal. I don't think it'll be like, oh, we crushed
it'll be
here.
close. Yeah.
And then the last game I wanted to talk about, which is it's going to be a fun one to watch. It's Cowboys versus 49ers at the 49ers.
Oh, good.
Um, right now, the 49ers have a 55% chance to win this game. I think the 49ers come in and show the Cowboys are the Cowboys offense is frauds.
Okay.
Because like every single game has been their defense balling out, just scoring points and everything. And like I showed you before, like Dak Prescott's not really helping his team score points. Obviously Pollard and CeeDee Lamb are gonna pop off, but um it really comes down to, can the Cowboys defense stop McCaffrey? And if they can Brock Purdy hit those passes that he's missed a few?
Yeah.
He's been playing very well, but there's been a few ones that could have been made games a lot easier that he's been missing, some deep shots. And Ayuk's kind of just been popping off too, so can he hit him there? Um, I I also could see this just being like an absolute like barn burner, like in the trenches type shit.
Yeah.
But I think that, towards maybe like the second half, the Niners defense is going to start getting after him. It's really if the Cowboys defense gets after him first, like especially in the beginning of the quarters, they're definitely going to be looking very good for the rest of this game. I think if Purdy throws maybe an interception and a fumble, and the Cowboys get ahead a few points, then they probably win this game. But if that doesn't happen, then I don't see any way the 49ers lose this game. I
Yeah,
think
I
that they're
agree.
they're just a better team all around. And I'm excited to face them because that'll be a huge test. But yeah, I
It
think
will be.
the so we're actually more favored than the 49ers. 49ers are minus 4.5. Over under 45.
Huh.
So they definitely think that this game is going to be a little more defensive as well. And I agree. I think that the Rams and Eagles are going to just be thrown everywhere. Where this game is going to be a very defensive thing. Um, Same thing though. Anytime touchdown scorers, so for DraftKings, I actually have San Francisco -3.5. That's not that bad. I would probably go with that route, -3.5, and maybe I'd probably say the over. 45 seems a little low. Like if it's like 30 to 17, that hits.
Okay.
I think that's a reasonable ask from a very prolific offense. But yeah, I think those are the only two games that I really want to talk about. I know I ranted a lot about. Oh, I know
I have a
exactly what I want to talk about. Go
oh,
ahead. What's your question though?
I had two questions on who you think will win in these two specific games. One by how much for one of them, the other one just because battle of the suck.
Okay.
Um, the Giants and the Dolphins. How bad do you think Miami's going to run up their score?
Giants and the Dolphins. I think it's not going to be, for some reason it's not going to be anywhere close to the Broncos like slugfest.
Yeah.
But I definitely think they put up 30 points, and I think Giants offense kind of gets a little bit more rhythm, especially if Saquon comes back. I think the games is a lot closer than people think. But if
Okay.
Saquon's not back, no, it's going to be a shit show.
And in battle of the suck, the Jets and the Broncos are 1-3. I know Zach Wilson played very well against the Chiefs.
Yeah, Jets win
I
that.
think the Jets take that one.
Jets win that 100%.
All
Their
right, what do you want to
defense
rant
is too
about?
good. They're fucking Taylor Swift.
Oh my God.
I was all for it the very first game when they first like showed her and everything like that. Even when they had like the whole build up before like the first game and everything like that, where they were like, "Oh, is he hooking up with Taylor Swift or not?" I'm fine with that. But now it's enough. Sleeper,
Uh,
I was this is before I actually started getting pissed off. Sleeper
this was
changed.
funny.
Yeah, this was funny. Sleeper changed Travis Kelsey's picture to Taylor Swift. So that was a funny thing to see. But then NFL kept putting their background was Taylor Swift. It was her at the
Yep.
game. And then after the Jets game, which everyone was pissed off at, they said we're Chiefs are 2-0 as Swifties. It was like every fucking sentence was Taylor Swift. Isaiah
This even
Pacheco scored a 50-yard touchdown. They didn't even let him see. They didn't show him the
Nope, they showed
his
Taylor
his little
Swift.
celebration. Yeah, immediately to Taylor Swift. Everything was Taylor Swift, and I'm so over it. I'm so over it.
I
I'm
think
done.
everyone is slowly getting over that shit.
I could handle I could handle Swifties. I could handle them. I like Taylor Swift. I can handle the Swifties. And I was actually excited for now the Swifties to get into football and see how that worked. But now the actual NFL has pissed me off enough where I was like, I'm over this. I don't care. I'm done. I've seen way too much of Taylor Swift in one fucking game than I have in 2 years. And I'm done. I'm done. I don't want to see it anymore. But that's my rant.
Good
Please,
rant.
please, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please, 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 please reach out to us at AB Sports Media on Twitter, or X nowadays, but it's Twitter. Also reach out to us via email. Our email is billandajmedia@gmail.com. Bill, any last things you want to talk about?
Fuck Chris Collingsworth. Okay.
Fuck Chris Collingsworth. Thank you guys for listening. My name's AJ.
And I'm Bill.
And get the hell out of here. I'm turning my camera off, so now you can't see me. Go Birds, go Fightins. Woo!
If gambling has become a problem for you or for someone you know, please call 1-800-GAMBLER to seek free, confidential 24/7 problem gambling assistance. You can also text SUPPORT to 53342 to get more information about problem gambling behavior.